Hey vinyl community, and Happy New Year to everybody. It's Jeff back with my first video of the new year. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and break. I was wanting to do a video, but I really wasn't sure in which direction I wanted to go with the type of video that I wanted to do to start off 2020. So this is actually going to be a combination of a couple of things. It's going to be sort of a 2019 review, and what I've done is I've got about 10 records here, some of the best that I've picked up in the last year. But more importantly, these records are specifically records that were recommendations from vinyl community members, and essentially took them up on their opinions, and I'm very glad that I did in all of these cases. So I'm just going to quickly go through, show you the records, sort of give them a brief description, and who it was that inspired me to purchase these records. So if any of these genres or styles are what you're into and interested in, I highly recommend all of these titles. So the first one that I have here is probably the oldest recommendation that I've seen. I saw this probably 2 years ago from Dave. His channel was called The Record Bug, and some of you may remember Dave. He hasn't done videos in quite some time. I think maybe in the last 2 years, I think he's done maybe one video. But this is a particular post-bop avant-garde jazz record that he spoke highly of. And I first took interest in it because it was recorded in London, Ontario in 1974. London is about an hour away from me. This is the London Experimental Jazz Quartet, and the album is called Invisible Roots. And I say avant-garde jazz. A lot of people don't like avant-garde jazz because it's maybe too out there, but I find this is really tight and really well done. It's on a private press called Scratch Records, and I'm not sure how many of these were actually pressed, but they're very hard to come by and they're very expensive. When I last looked on Discogs a few days ago about this particular record, minimum selling price was $162, and the maximum was $520. I'm not sure what its true value is. That's just, of course, going with sales on Discogs. But people are paying a lot of money for this record. Not me. I found this probably 5-6 months ago in a used crate on the floor in what's kind of a used records, CDs, video games type of store for $20. So thanks, Dave. Okay, the next one, this goes back probably a year and a half as well. And this is by Ali Jihad Raisi. This is called Ancient Egypt from 1979. This is world music, very spiritual, using traditional Eastern instruments. At times I actually kind of find it ambient. You just drift away. It's just beautiful. And I saw this record shown by John Coltrane, 68. And ordered this online, as I did with most of these. They're just records that I certainly in this area can't really find. So thank you, Chris. Beautiful record here. Next is one I think we've all seen quite a bit. If this is sort of the type of music that you're into, this is premium first-class psychedelic rock. This This is the self-titled Churchills album. And I think we all can point our fingers with gratitude to Dallas Pez for, at least for me, introducing this to me. Churchills were an Israeli band. This record, I believe, was originally released in 68. And this is a 2014 reissue. And some people know Ellie from Ellie Records in the vinyl community. He is in Israel himself, and he actually gave his, or lent, more specifically, his original pressing of this record to the label for the repressing of it years later. So this is on a label that's called Hadarzi, which is out of Israel, an Israeli pressing, of course. So, again, premium psychedelic rock. Thank you, Dallas. Fantastic record. Okay, the next one is Joe Bird and the Field Hippies, and this is called The American Metaphysical Surface. This album originally came out in 1969. This, however, is a 2012 reissue on Columbia Masterworks. This is rock, psychedelic, very experimental, electronic, jazzy points too, I find. And this record, for me anyways, was first introduced, or at least that I really took note of, by Topper at Oddbox Topper. So thank you, Topper. Great recommendation. And like Dallas, this is a recommendation that was made from another fellow Canadian. I think I picked this up, ordered it actually in the fall. I believe this was a 2019 RSD release as a reissue. This is Power of Zeus. Premium hard rock. And there's a hype sticker that says here, I'm not sure if it was just a couple of songs or the whole album, half speed mastered at Abbey Road Studios in London. So yeah, this is a hold on to your seat record. Special thanks to Dan at Dots and Loops for getting me hooked onto this fantastic album. Thanks, Dan. Okay, this next one is from 1973 when it was originally released. This is a 2017 reissue on Music on Vinyl. This is Judy Sill, Heart Food. This is singer-songwriter, country, folk, originally released on Asylum Records. And Judy actually was the first artist that was signed to Asylum Records. She has an outstanding voice. This was first brought to my attention by Dylan at Noble Records. Spoke very highly of her. I think she only had 2, maybe 3 albums. I think this was her second album. Maybe she had started a third but never was completely released. I'm not sure the full story. But Dylan spoke and continues to speak very highly of this album. So thank you very much, Dylan. Great recommendation. Okay, 2 more. 3 records, but 2 more here. This recommendation was from Rob over at Sounds Strange. This is Mallow, the self-titled album, originally released in 1972. This is Latin rock. I would compare it to Santana. Santana 2, maybe. Ironically enough, Carlos's brother, Jorge, or George, Jorge Santana, is one of the 2 lead guitarists in this band. If you like Santana, or love Santana, I think you'd love this as well. So this recommendation was again from Rob at Sounds Strange. Thank you, Rob. Okay, this one is, it's actually two albums. Band called Goat. I think they're from Sweden. Two albums that I've picked up is Commune, or Commune. This was released in 2014. These guys are rock, folk, world, experimental, electronic, just about everything. 2 years later, this was released in 2016. This is Requiem. Did I say Sweden? I think they're Swedish. But yeah, this cover here especially really gives a good idea into the music. A little bit of everything. And I want to give thanks to Brian over at Vintage Audiophile for introducing these guys to me. Goat. Great stuff here. Thank you, Brian. And the last one that I have, the most recent one that I've purchased, actually just came in a few days ago. This was in a video from Sherv over at, or at least the name of his channel is Julius Jabbar, Jabbar. And this is Dada, Peace and Love. Out of Jamaica. Originally released in 1974. This, however, is a 2010 reissue on, the label here is Wildflower. Again, reggae, very spiritual, very religious. This is outstanding. I think Sherv showed this in a video that he did for, I think it was Edwin's, Edwin did a video for music around the world, and this I think was Sherv's entry for Jamaica. I'm pretty sure. Apologies if that's not quite right, Sherv, but I want to give a special shout out to Doug. Doug is one of the vinyl community's biggest reggae fans that I'm aware of anyways, and I suspect over the years that I've been following and watching Doug's channel, this has probably come up at some point. I don't recall, but just knowing Doug, I'm sure he's very aware, and most likely has probably shown this at some point too. But most recently, Sherv, thanks for the recommendation. Again, if you're interested in any of these styles of music, I highly recommend any of these records. Thanks again, everybody who have shown these and recommended these. Probably the biggest benefit that I get out of the vinyl community is the recommendations and just learning about more music. So if you're still with me, thanks everybody for watching. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.